Hello friends, I'm your first time entrepreneur. Welcome back to the channel. And in this video, I'll share how I found the freelancers and evaluated their work before hiring them to design my website, the cost involved and the pros and cons of working with freelancers, plus my overall experience in working with a freelancer. So let's get started. I began my search on LinkedIn, Upwork and Freelancer website, looking for a talented UI/UX designer. I contacted several designers and received response from a few. As I reviewed their portfolio, one designer in particular caught my eye. Her profile indicated that she has worked with impressive companies, and her portfolio was detailed and demonstrated a great sense of color. I decided to have a call with her to learn more. During our conversation, she explained her working style and introduced me to the concept of design system. In UX design, she showed how she uses it to maintain consistency in her designs. Her clarity and professionalism impressed me, and she provided a clean timeline of what to expect and when. Although her price was slightly above my budget, I appreciated her approach and agreed to her timeline of completing the prototype in 30 days, along with documentation on how the application and its flow would work. Hiring a designer to build your prototype can cost between 30,000 to 1.5 lakh, depending on the quality of the work and the designer's experience. Since I aim to create a product that can rival big companies, I chose someone with considerable experience. But she had one condition. She would start working only if I agreed to pay 50% in advance and 50% upon completion, as I was a new client for her. After some negotiation and exchanging Aadhaar card details, I agreed to her terms. We already had 2 to 3 calls before this, and I was confident in her UI/UX design skills. So I decided to take the risk and pay half of the amount before the work began. The process started smoothly with several calls where she understood all the requirements, such as the company's purpose, vision, and other key details. She studied the competitors and provided valuable insights and suggestions to improve the website's workflow. 2 weeks passed, but the project was still in research phase, with no progress on the actual product design. When I followed up with her, she explained that the requirement gathering was complete and that the product development would begin. However, knowing the industry, I realized that 2 weeks won't be enough to design over 40 plus screens. Feeling frustrated, I reached out to her for a detailed account of her progress over those 2 weeks. Her response was unsatisfactory. She couldn't clearly explain how much time she had dedicated to my project. Since she was a freelancer, I was worried that she might be prioritizing other clients' work over mine, especially since I had already paid half the fee, increasing my risk. In response, I started applying pressure to monitor her work daily. She was unhappy with the pressure, as it affected her ability to focus on her other clients. Consequently, she decided to leave the project. We had a heated argument about deadlines and commitment. She offered to refund the money after deducting for the effort she had put in. She felt that I wasn't appreciating her contributions and was judging her solely based on her actual output. She said she would deduct the charges for the effort she has made so far and return the remaining amount. From my perspective, I didn't want the hassle of finding another designer, and any deductions would have been a loss, since there wasn't much work on paper. However, based on the work she had showed me, I knew she had potential. So I decided to apologize, even though it was difficult for me, as I'm not someone who says sorry if I don't think I'm wrong. After acknowledging her skills and work, she agreed to continue. The product ended up taking an extra 15 days to complete, but I was thrilled with the results, which exceeded my expectations. She had added many extra screens with great detail. In the end, I received a prototype that was better than what I hoped for, and I paid her the remaining amount as initially agreed, plus an additional amount from my side after receiving all the project-related materials. First, freelancers can be more efficient than regular employees if you find a good one. Second, there is no long-term commitment involved. At a startup, hiring a full-time employee can be expensive. So freelancers are the best way to get work done without much commitment. At last, you don't have to wait for freelancers to finish a notice period like full-time employees. You can hire them and start assigning work right away. There's a risk involved, as you have to trust someone you don't know to get your work done. Paying in advance increases the risk. If you already know them, then that's a plus, as it can help minimize the risk. Second, you can't put much pressure on them because they might not rely solely on your work for their income. And that's all for this video. In the next video, I'll share some insights about how I applied for 20 lakh government grants to support my startup. Till then, see you next time.